Yeah, I'm Robin Chauhan, head of engineering here at AgFunder. My team is responsible for Gaia, and I get involved in speaking with our portfolio companies that are involved with AI, which is a growing set of them. And we're very excited to feature 3 of our portfolio companies here today, Chromatic, Atinary, and DataSpan. And so we're going to start off the panel just with brief introductions. If you can introduce yourself and your company, what do you guys do?
Hello, my name is Hermann Tribukait. I'm co-founder and CEO of Atinary Technologies. Thank you, Robin, and everyone, AgFunder here for having us. Atinary, as you heard in the panel before, is an AI company, AI for chemistry, that accelerates materials and molecules discovery. So we offer a no-code platform that allows chemists, even physicists, biologists, to deploy AI without writing a single line of code, and to speed up R&D as well on the early stage discovery phase. One distinguishing aspect is that our platform allows to integrate robotic platforms into the workflow, so that you not only accelerate using the algorithms, you also accelerate by integrating automation. So you do smart automation that speeds up the whole process, the entire discovery process, by orders of magnitude. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. This is my co-founder who invented the technology.
Hi, everyone. Thanks again for the invitation here. My name is Loïc. I'm the co-founder and CTO at Atinary. A pleasure. Looking forward to the conversation today.
Awesome. Okay. Next question for you all is, can you talk about the type of AI or machine learning that you use in your company, and maybe also how that's evolved over time, if it has?
So at Atinary Technologies, since we work in the research and development phase, the data is something that is extremely expensive, both in terms of resources. So if you look at chemicals, biochemicals, so the starting materials are very expensive, but also every experiment that they run in a lab is very expensive. So therefore, we need to find algorithm that can deal with very limited amount of data. So because of that, we use something called Bayesian optimization. So this is based on statistics. So this is one of the core algorithms that we use. But also, since most of the company sits on pile of data, we need to have some sort of algorithm that can transfer knowledge that they have acquired around the last decades, let's say, and transfer this information into new experiment that they want to start. And to do that, we use something called neural processes.
So this question is really for Atinary and DataSpan more, and it's about the misperceptions. Did you encounter the misperceptions often that AI is all about LLMs? Now that we have ChatGPT, I think in the mainstream perception, ChatGPT equals AI, but as you can see here, there's a lot more diversity to it. So do you encounter that misperception often when you just say that you're building an AI company?
Yeah, absolutely. So AI is something that is very, very broad. It encapsulates a lot of different things. As you just mentioned, we hear a lot of different technologies being used. Large language models like ChatGPT required a lot of data training time that is huge. And this is something that cannot be afforded, again, in our field. So there are many, many different techniques. And the one that we use is very different. And it's very easy for people to think that AI is ChatGPT, or before it was neural network. But yeah, there are very different techniques.
If I may add, so yes, I think most people are talking about large language models and Gen AI, generative AI. We don't do any of the two. I mean, we're developing some tools with LLMs, but the core technology, as Loïc explained, is Bayesian optimization or active learning, machine learning algorithms, which is based on small number of data sets, so low compute cost. You don't need we can also actually start with 0 data from scratch, so you don't need to pre-train and spend a ton of money just in the servers or in computation. So it's very different, and the application is also different. It's in science. Advancing science, advancing technology at the core, as Manuel was talking about, the core technology. So that's it's very different. I think it's very exciting, and yeah.
Thanks. Okay, and so we see AI progressing at an incredible rate these days. New things are coming out all the time, new models, new methods. So my question here is, how does the rate of change, this incredible rate of change in AI these days, does it affect your business? Does it help you? Does it make it harder? How does that affect your business?
So it's great to see all those new publications, new research coming out, because those are just other techniques that we can embark very quickly into our platform and then deliver this and deploy this with our clients.
And if I may add, we actually benefit from that acceleration. I mean, we're seeing incredible improvements across the board, new algorithms coming in almost every week. In our platform, we make not only our proprietary algorithms available, we also make open source available algorithms for the users to use with our interface. The interface would be the equivalent, so to speak, of the ChatGPT in terms of user friendliness. So you're a chemist, you don't need to go to GitHub, anything. You just need an internet connection to deploy AI, be it our own algorithms or open source available algorithms, and by just clicking buttons and being it very intuitive to use.
Great. Okay. So I think this question maybe could be deduced somewhat from our previous questions, but just to zoom in on the value of data or the relative value of data. So how do you see for your business, the importance of the data versus the algorithm? Definitely we know that in many cases, AI is as good as the data that it's trained on. So can you just say a little bit more about the balance between data and the AI algorithms for your use case?
Yeah, so for sure, the data is the utmost important thing in AI development, right? So because that's the backbone, as you mentioned, this is the data that is fed to the algorithm so that then you can build a model and then use this model, in our case, to help our clients speed up their research. But in the field where we are, so in research and development in particular, when we work with biotech companies, they can have a lot of noise in their data because by nature it's very noisy, experiments are very noisy. So therefore we need to have algorithm that can handle this noise. So close to what you said, garbage in, garbage out, this is correct, but the algorithm still needs to have some margin where you can operate. And we have developed techniques where we can actually kind of separate the noise from the rest so that we can still learn from the real data that is underneath. But overall, the data is very important for sure.
And one key aspect of all this is generating better data. And this is where the robots come in our view. That's one of the reasons that you benefit from being able to seamlessly integrate these machines that can produce much higher quality, machine learning ready, reproducible data sets that in the current manual processes, think about a chemist just pipetting and counting drops, that is can be very inaccurate, leads to errors, human bias. That's part of the benefits of bringing in the robotic platforms to generate all these much better quality data sets.
We sometimes hear about the concept of human in the loop. AI autonomous AI versus AI in collaboration with humans, or humans using AI. Like we hear words like centaur but human in the loop. So can you talk about how is there a human in the loop for your use case, or what is the relationship between the human and the AI in your use case?
Yeah, so as Hermann mentioned, so we can bring in robotics, and Manuel mentioned before, we published with ETH where we actually connected directly from our platform to a robotic system to run an experiment in full autonomy. Even more recently, we published with IBM Research Europe where we did a similar approach where we connect directly to their robotic system to optimize chemical reaction in full autonomy. But in all of those examples, it's very important that the human can actually interact with the model, understand why the algorithm is going there, what is the rationale behind it. And to do that, we help the human to actually open this black box, which is machine learning and AI algorithm, with a powerful data analytics module, because it's very important that they can see what is happening, where is their experiment going, and why it's going there. So it's very important to have the human in the loop.
Absolutely. I think we believe that human plus machine today and for the foreseeable future will continue outperforming humans alone or machines alone. We see that in many use cases, and that's our belief as well. So in our case, a human remains in the loop and in control as well, and fully interacting with these autonomous systems, but they can stop anytime, refine it, think, and focus. The human focuses on what makes us human, and on the creativity, on the science, on thinking, designing or thinking where to start, and then leverage the technologies, the AI, the robotics, everything in the cloud, the power of computers.
Our last question is kind of like a hot take, philosophical question. We hear discussion about, is AI going to end the world, or is it going to save it? So what do you think on balance? Is AI going to be a positive thing for this world, or should we be worried? Talk to us about that.
So in my opinion, I mean, this is, as any other technology, a tool that can be misused. We believe we augment humans, so both on the positives and on the negative side. Now, having said that, in our case, we do what we can at Atinary to really focus on the, for sure, net positive or positive activities good for humanity. So on the one hand, that's why we focus on healthcare, food, agriculture, climate tech. In addition, we prohibit the use of our technology for military purposes, and we don't take money also from the Department of Defense, so we try to stay away from that and really care for those activities, those uses that are for sure needed and urgently needed, we would say, for the good of society.
Okay, so if anyone has a question for our awesome panelists, feel free to put your hand up to ask for the mic.
I actually have a question of my own. I'm actually quite familiar with your technologies and your use cases from food, ag, and beyond. But for, I guess, purposes of the audience, when you think about your technologies, and you think about today or the near future, which industries or sub-industries do you feel stand to gain the most from leveraging Chromatic, Atinary, DataSpan?
Yes, so as I mentioned, we apply AI mostly to chemistry, chemical reactions, and that's really across the board. Everything you look around here has chemical reactions behind it, from the clothing we wear to the batteries to cars and drugs for sure. So in the short term, I think we're seeing early adopters more on pharma and biotech, drug discovery and optimization. But the opportunities, the potential is enormous. I think Rob mentioned semiconductors that we're working with MIT. That's a longer term, but that's a humongous industry of potential and need. The same in chemistry, and for example, in climate tech, we have a project on carbon capture materials that also is huge impact, huge industries. And from there, you can think about longer term alternatives to plastics that can be really recyclable easily and ideally biodegradable. But it's really, the opportunities are across the board. So,
do one of you four have a very strong opinion on whether AI will take away jobs or whether AI will increase the number of jobs?
So as an economist by training, I feel very strongly that on the net, it's going to be increasing for sure the number of jobs, but there will be a change and a transition. Some will have to lose jobs, especially in the short term, but in the long term, companies are going to be more productive, will generate more profits, and that will grow the entire economies and bring in better technologies, as any other technology in the past, right? And this is the usual discussion on robotics, but I mean, think about in agriculture, how much has been automated, tractors and everything, and there's still, I mean, the jobs change over time, but it's a net positive for everyone, for the economy. Well, maybe not in the transition. Some people will for sure lose and need to retrain, and that's where the key is for governments. It's a policy question for governments to come in and make sure that there's a way to soften or to manage that transition for those who lose, because there will be some losers.
Yeah. I think it will definitely transform the jobs, that's for sure. And we can see it already in universities now. For example, in chemistry, now they have new bachelor program, new master program, where they go towards digital chemistry. That's something that I didn't have when I had classes before. So there is a transformation, and AI will be everywhere. And it will change. As you mentioned, I think the focus will be different. Instead of spending hours on thinking where to go next, then this will be done by something that's way more efficient, like AI, that can navigate this space super quickly. And then we will be, like the human will be more towards understanding why it's going there, why is the chemistry behind, what is happening. So more on the thinking.
Thank you. There's been criticism of AI models of running on higher amounts of power, computing power, and the energy required for that. How does the AI community looking at that now to try to mitigate that challenge, which is coming up quickly, the faster that these grow?
So yes, for sure, energy use to run all this training is an issue. So there's multiple ways, in my view, at least with what pertains to Atinary. One of the early use cases that Loïc ran, even before launching the company, was to minimize the number of simulations needed to find optima, which is essentially what we do. We minimize the number of runs, the number of experiments, the number of simulations to find the global best. So that by itself reduces not only the chemicals and everything, also the power usage. That's one thing. But on the other side, on the discovery of new materials, high performance materials that minimize the usage of energy, for example, in semiconductors, you need power electronics that use much less power. And that's urgently needed because as AI is going to be really pervasive everywhere, and the Internet of Things, everything interconnected, even from the car to every consumer electronics, we need these better materials that can perform the work with consuming less energy, low energy production that requires better chemistry, requires better materials.
Yeah, and to add more specifically on the AI algorithm itself, so this goes back to your first question, Robin. So there are different type of AI, and some AI algorithm may use a lot of GPUs or a very large number of CPUs to be trained. But then there are different type of algorithm, so typically machine learning algorithm or active learning strategies. Those are things that can even run on a laptop for the training. So in terms of resources, it can be very low as well.